Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Astrology Victoria. Today with your host, Tatiana. As usual, every week to give you the report of the astro weather, what's going on in the stars and how that could or may impact our lives and what to do about it to ride the wave. As you can tell, I'm not even in my home anymore. I moved, so it's going to be a little bit more on the fly kind of thing. My astro blanket is not here and somewhere in the boxes. And so this points to a process. And this is what I want to talk about. Not only just the beginning of the month of June. So we will be discussing the astrology of May 30th through June 5th. And seeing what's going on these weeks, because the energy, and if you did see my video for last week, it's a continuation really of the same energy and the same themes. Things are just intensifying. And if we know how to ride these waves, we should be really fine. Last week, I mentioned this being at the edge of the slide, the water slide, and you're going to be like pushed. It's your turn already. You go. You end up at the other side. There's quite a commotion because life seems to be changing. Things are rearranging. And you're just finding more of who you are. And now is a time for action. If you have been thinking about changing things in your life wants you to move in a direction that is more in accordance to you, to what you truly value, and that's the Taurus energy, then we will be moving more into what is fulfilling. This is part of this process. It's a birth. We had the eclipses just going on in through May, and these eclipses moving us forward more and more to what gives us a sense of pleasure and stability and a different perspective on life, and leaving behind old ways of being, behaviors, thinking, people, places, things that no longer support our evolution. And if we're still attached to any of that, then that becomes a weight. You're dragging something on. And the question is like, why? Why are we dragging something still that it's really no longer relevant to our lives? If on the flip side, you have been doing that process of leaving behind, closing cycles, and these cycles in the Pisces energy could have been cycles of lifetimes. Sometimes that's what it is, like things that you have been dragging on for ages that now have finally completed. When we bring into our awareness why these cycles have completed, how we have finally moved on to a new way of being or a new paradigm, then our life begins to manifest that other new beginning or new stage. And this could be a bigger stage, a bigger, much wider, much stabler stage or cycle in your life that is coming into form. And there are energies at play. The Gemini energy right now in Gemini season asks us to look at life through the lens of newness, of opportunity, and of curiosity. Like, what's this? What's that? Maybe I should be more open-minded and open myself up to possibility, not limitation. And right now, because Mercury is still retrograde, we have a lot of energy for introspection, reviewing, and thinking about how we think, how we see reality. What are our beliefs that keep us maybe still locked in a rigid place, or can we open ourselves up to curiosity, to fun and play, because Gemini also wants fun. Gemini wants play. Gemini wants you to be like a child, literally not really conditioned by anything other than what's here, what's there, making, connections between things. That's the Gemini archetype. It wants you to be curious, be open-minded, not fixed and settled, and this is the way things are, and they can only be this way, they cannot be any other way, because then you cut opportunity from coming into your life. And then maybe something even better comes when you are open, like, oh yeah, maybe I did not see that perspective, or I did not see that possibility, and now I can see it. So the invitation is stay open. We have the energy of Taurus, very present still, and Venus being in Taurus. It's like, take things slow, enjoy the process, please. Because the energy of Taurus is slow, it's stable, it wants to fix and set things, stability. And it's like the stop and smell the roses energy. And with Venus there is like, can you self-care and take some downtime, take a bath? Enjoy that whatever little thing you're doing, you're just enjoying it. And then the Aries energy simultaneously says, go, 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 initiate, move, go for what you want, go get what you want to get. And it's time. Now you can go for your ideals and go. There's energy at your disposal. And now the invitation is to navigate those two energies. So my recommendation is one thing at a time. Do it. Do not just sit and do nothing. Do, go, be proactive, take action, move. And then know when to stop. Because the conjunction of Jupiter and Mars is like so much energy that if you don't use it, then it can become frustration, anger, irritability, or just having too much energy, and then you can be frustrated. Use this energy to just reach the sky, keep moving. And then once you've moved, you've expended all that energy, relax. Just take a nice, long, delicious, luscious break. And then go again. And also, while you're going, you don't need to rush in the going. You can just enjoy the process of go, go, go. That can be very enjoyable. It's very interesting because I just moved, and yesterday, my friend that with whom I am living in this new wonderful place we're living in, she said exactly that. She said, there's so much to do with the move. There's things everywhere. There's chaos. And then she said, but the whole point is like, she actually quoted Abraham Hicks. I don't remember the exact quote, but something like, what's the point of arriving at something? Once you get it, then if you didn't enjoy the process, what is the point? You'll just keep having more desire. So this was brilliant when she said that. Yeah, because I was like, yes, this is exactly that energy of we're going, we're doing things, we're proactive, but every single thing we're enjoying. And something happened to me yesterday. The ants were crawling all over my food, and I had all these things to do. And then I just took, I don't know, probably half an hour, 45 minutes to go through my pet's little treats, Neptune's treats. And they were full of ants. So I just kind of went slowly through it. So I was in this interesting action and just being present with that action. As much as there's so much to do, that's what the Venus energy invites. Yes, enjoy the process. Now, the second process that we're having in these times is the process of finding what we value, what we truly, truly value in our lives, and being in touch with our needs. And needs is not like a bad word of neediness. That's not what I mean. Needs are just, every human being embodied in a physical body will have certain biological needs, safety needs, physical needs, food needs. Unless you are already in a state of full enlightenment. And if you are, please leave me a comment, because I'd like to know how you got there, and I will study under you. And full enlightenment, you know what it is. It's like you transcend time, space, everything, and your body doesn't even, you self-heal and whatever. I mean, I hope we all get there at one time, but clearly I'm not there yet. So if you are, please let me know how you got it. And these needs are connected also to what we value and love. We are unique individuals. And you know that from even your birth chart. You are unique. What you value and what we all need to survive as basic human beings is kind of universal. It's like food for our biology to keep existing, shelter so we're safe and protected from the elements, and water. Like those are like super basic, clearly. But then there's other kinds of needs, emotional needs, things we value. Some people might value moving around, traveling. Other people might value working because they just love it. It's connected to love. And that's why Venus is so much connected to what we desire, because it's what we want. So this is an energy of connected to wants and needs, and they're not a bad thing. We all want things and need things, and it's not bad. It's more about getting connected to what that looks like for you, to feel fulfilled, and how there is abundance in this universe for everyone to get what they want and need, provided it is completely aligned with your soul's desires. Not your ego desire, oh, I want this, I want that, but your soul's desires. When you're really connected to that, that makes you so passionate. And this is the energy of Mars and Aries, the passion of being and being yourself, initiating something for yourself, self-reliance, and getting something that is meaningful to you, like making meaningful money or doing things. Wake up in the morning and what I do has meaning, whatever it is. This is why the invitation is to connect to that very deeply. So this process of connecting to that is going to be very prominent. Like through the eclipses, you might have seen actually what's working and not working for you. And maybe it has shown very obviously, like, this is not me. This is not what I want. I don't align with this. And you might have been like shockingly faced with things like that. People, places, situations that show you by contrast what you are not and what you do not want and what's not valuable to you anymore. Once you connect to that, the next stage of this natural evolutionary process that we're going through, it's to go with courage for what you want. Go get it. And there is another little thing with this process. And this particular week, we will be slowly, well, no, it's more like the second week that we will be entering into that more painful process. So I will be talking about that later for next week. But give you a snippet, is like, maybe there's some patterning around our lives that says maybe we were not qualified to get what we wanted. Maybe we were cut from achieving what we wanted, from our goals. Maybe our families were limiting when we were little. Maybe we were told no many times. No, you can't do that. You can't do this, can't do that, can't have this, can't have that. And that as a pattern stays. So it means like there's some kind of fear, maybe. Like, what if I really can't do this? I can't get what I want, what I need, what I really am passionate about. Fear. And the invitation, and I talked about this last week, is to just see that fear. See, where does that come from? And acknowledge it and release it. Let it go. Know that there is indeed abundance of energy and abundance in the universe. That's the Taurus energy. It's the energy of infinite abundance. Abundance is not necessarily only money. And I'm going to give you little examples of how abundance shows in my life in such phenomenal ways. Right now, I'm like literally moving back and forth and not yet really settled in one particular space. And my friends have opened their doors. There's plenty of opportunity. People are always giving me food, inviting me to dinners and giving me breakfast and lunch. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Wow, I am being taken care of amidst the chaos. Everybody in my life, it's just filled with generosity. And I'm like, oh, I'm taking that in and being so grateful. So grateful. And leaving behind the scorpionic patterns of, I don't trust people. People will hurt me. People are this, people are that. Being with people means at some point they're going to turn on you. And those are part of the patterns that are more in the realms of Scorpio. You know, the hidden agendas, meanings, motivations. How about we start trusting that people are kind, people are generous. There's abundance for everybody. We don't need to hoard and take, and that would be the shadow of Taurus. Hoarding. We don't need to hoard because there is enough abundance for everybody. We can all share. This is that invitation. I'm going to show you the chart of the week for the three main things. Again, I did not have time to make my slideshow. My very Virgo, I want things really nice slideshow. So here it is. We have the transits of starting with the new moon that will happen actually Sunday. So the new moon in Gemini really invites this playful energy. It's a new cycle of curiosity, play, and spontaneity, I would say. Gemini, with this mutable energy, wants us to be creative, curious. Well, not creative is maybe not the right word, but curious about things. And this is, I feel, 2 weeks where there will be a little bit more ease in the skies. It's a lot of supportive energy into this new changes that I just talked about, this process of falling into this new reality that we are creating consciously. If you're creating it consciously, then you will be getting the best out of this transition period. So as we can see here, we start the week with the new moon. A new cycle will be starting. We still have Mercury retrograde in Taurus, and it will be soon stationing this week to go direct, which means the themes that we were reviewing will be now ready to go. Again, our mental processes. We have talked about this trine of Mercury to Pluto here, supporting the process of transformation and transforming how we think, what we think, and digging deep into the psyche to reveal how we think, why we have these fears, limitations, or needs maybe for control. Where does that come from? And then we can just review it and make conscious choices. Supported by Pluto. and Pluto still in Capricorn, showing and unearthing the dark side or the shadow side of power and of top to bottom structures of the pyramidal, like I'm on top, I have the power, I'm up here, and why the need to control when the Aquarian paradigm wants us to be equalized, not uniform, equalized. So everybody has equal opportunity, equal voice, equal. So all of this energy will be, again, supported also by Saturn in Aquarius, giving us a little bit of a squeeze around the responsibility of our fellow, human tissue, and how we can responsibly take on the new structures that will support this Aquarian paradigm, that will be a long-lasting one, because Saturn wants to make sure that when it leaves a sign, it leaves something built. And we are building these new Aquarian themes. And let's talk about the Aquarian themes again. Remember that we are in this moment where we could either manifest the shadow of Aquarius or the light of Aquarius. The shadow of Aquarius is extreme disconnection, coldness, too much rational thinking, maybe even alienation, othering, you versus me. If you're in there, then I'm here because I'm different. Separation, social distancing rings a bell. A little bit of a very scientific, if it's not going through the mental process, it's not valid. So only validation through hardcore science, technocracy. We might be seeing the shadow of Aquarius in maybe control through technology. And we have been seeing things like, those passports that are, vaccination passports or things like that, or IDs, like digital IDs, and things that could be very positive if they're used with awareness and consciousness and for the actual betterment of society. But if they're used for controlling, then we see the shadow, where everything is like a lab, and the internet and and once Pluto gets into Aquarius, we might start then seeing all the shadow of the mega technological world that we're building through this Saturn cycle, where everything wants to be more systematized in the, let's say, like systematically connected, where everything is interconnected and there's an actual system of connectivity, and there could be control associated or limitation with Saturn, or there could be responsibility. You see, nothing is black or white, but we need to know where we put our energy and how we express it, so it expresses in its best quality. So all of this is still happening. And because Mercury is still squaring now Saturn here, there could be also our own mental limitations coming up this week. I can't do this. It's not possible. I can't do it. Not possible. I limit myself, therefore not possible. Why? The only limitation comes from you. And then Pluto asks us to transform our thinking. This is clearly, if it's not inside of you, why you're limiting yourself, it could come out as a limiting situation where somebody shuts you off or tells you can't do that. It's not possible. And then you believe it. And you go, yeah, it's not possible. Or you have to do this. This is the way to do it. There's no other way. And you go, okay, that's the only way. And then you get a little bit depressed. Your mind gets into gloom, doom and gloom thinking, like, yeah, clearly this is not possible. So the invitation is to think about Why do you think like that? Why do you think there is limitation in an unlimited universe? Can you not just stretch your mind into thinking that things really actually do manifest as you think? And I don't know if you've seen Joe Dispenza, but if you haven't, I recommend you watch Joe Dispenza's videos where he really talks about the science of the brain waves, and how thoughts really affect reality. And many others do talk about this, but that's one particular example of somebody who has real clear explanations of how the mind works and how then reality adjusts around our thinking. And if you're not yet convinced of that, then I suggest you kind of get into at least being open, Gemini, open to ideas that are new and different that you might have not ever considered. So I just give you that little tip. Joe Dispenza, look it up. Yeah, so Monday, this new moon starts with that, and starts also with the big conjunction of Jupiter and Mars that we have been talking about also last week, where there's the go time, the amount of energy that you have to achieve your ideals. Jupiter with the direction of life, the big, long, where are we shooting our arrow, kind of Sagittarian vibe. But in Aries is like, I'm going big and I have this much energy to go. Remember the shadow of Aries: impulsivity, restlessness, impatience, anger, irritability. So if we see more of that in the world, and hopefully we won't see too much of that in climates of war, and hopefully we can bring more awareness around these energies that promote passion and impulse, and a lot of energy to do stuff, and balance it out with the Taurus energy, especially once Venus gets in. And I'm going to tell you a little other story about Venus in Taurus. When Venus started moving into Taurus, and this was like a couple days back, I was talking with my friends, and I have some male friends that I really adore. And we're just talking about like, oh, it would be so nice to just have like a spa day. And we were talking about face masks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my dude friends. They're men and they're not gay. They're men. And we're talking about this, having like a spa day. And I laugh and I said, well, Venus is moving into Taurus. That's exactly what it wants, for us to take care of our bodies. And it was just funny to talk about making our own concoctions and face masks and hair masks, and just have a relaxing day. Yes, the little story of Venus moving into Taurus, and how that impacts everybody's in different ways. So yeah, that's that. And then we have the next thing going on is that Mercury is going to go direct. So June 2nd, it will start going stationing, and then June 3rd, it will be moving direct. And once Mercury goes direct, then we can start literally manifesting. All of that thought process that we have been revamping will start being actualized in reality. Now we can have the conversations. Now we can make the agreements. Now we can, again, the Mercury in Taurus is a little bit of a slower thinking process, and wants to make sure that things are stable. And it's a good time now if you had like the contracts to sign and things like that. And if you had contracts to sign during Mercury retrograde, just make sure that before June 3rd, if you do have to do that, triple check, read 3 times, make sure you don't have to then go back to, oh, we forgot this, or wait until June 3rd if you can, when your mind might be more clear about what it is, what you want, how it should be done. Everything's written clearly, and go. Again, if you can't, that's okay. No big deal. You might just encounter the need to maybe correct little things, unless it's something really massive and huge. What else can we see here? That it's nice in this week. We will be definitely having, once the moon is around the Cancer, so around Friday, we're having this beautiful Jupiter moon trine, which could allow us to feel very hopeful, to feel well, to feel good within our being, you know, and almost like feel home within and have like expansive, joyful feelings. So there's going to be these little cycles of ups and downs as usual. And we will note that Mars is slowly approaching Chiron, and that's when we will be dealing more with the fear that I was talking about, probably in the next coming weeks. And the last one I have is for Sunday, June 5th. This, again, I'm going to look a little bit at the moon. And with the moon goes so fast that that's why we're like moody sometimes with the moon. The moon will be squaring the nodes and will be in opposition to Saturn. So you might feel, again, the moon is about how we feel. You might feel that how you want to express yourself. Leo, you want to be seen, you want to be acknowledged, and then these adjustments to this new paradigm, the Taurus North Node, you might feel frustrated. So there might be feelings of frustration with Saturn here, or that something, it's oppressive. Again, this too shall pass. You might feel a little bit sad or depressed too. It's a very fleeting thing. The moon, thank God, it just goes. It goes. But it's good to track a little bit of how it's moving, and then also how it affects you in particular, because if you have any degrees around the 20th degree, any planets, sorry, and at around the 20th degree of Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, or Scorpio, that's where this could be felt actually more prominent. Just not everybody. Some people might be feeling like that. And I'd love to hear your comments on how these transitions or these death processes have been going on for you. Have you actually gone through major transformations lately? Or is anything really radically wanting to move you into more of what you really want to be in the world? And now you're actually getting it, and there's the energy at your disposal for that. Or if conversely, you have been feeling very frustrated and afraid of these changes, that also depends on your chart. And if you'd like a reading with me, you can always book a reading and contact me. All the information is below. Because some people are more flexible in their lives, changes are easier. And you have Uranus kind of changing the whole way we relate to our resources. And our money and our value system. So some people are very, very rigid and want things to be a certain way. Other people are more flexible. Like, it just depends of your nature, how we adapt to the times. Some people might think this is super exciting. Other people might go, yeah. So I would love to hear your comments, see what you have to say. So I am going to wrap up here, and hopefully you will be having a wonderful week. If you haven't seen the saga of the month of May into June, I always recommend you kind of go with the flow of it, so you understand how this is kind of overlapping and moving us forward. There is definitely a desire from the world, I guess, the universe, the divine, to move us into more pleasurable times, into more stable times, into more connection to nature, to the simplicity of life, and the simplicity of being these earthlings on this planet and being the stewards of the earth, I feel there is a great push in that direction with the North Node in Taurus and all these planets kind of wanting us to go there, go more there. That's that. All right, I will see you in the next video next week, and wishing you a blessed week. And take some time down and go for what you want.